Hey y'all, it's Stephanie L. I'm going to be using Altenews Vintage Flower Stamp Set for this one, and I'm going to be using a whole bunch of stuff from my stash because I have a ton of stuff from my stash that I've never used. But before we get into that part, let's have a little bit of story time because it's been a minute and I think y'all deserve a little something something. So this year has been one of the biggest years of personal growth for me. My mama died, I got married, and I'm still learning to let go of old adages that no longer serve me. And if I'm being quite honest, I think it all started with a peach. I love fruit, or so I thought. My husband's good for stocking the house up with fruit, and the kids eat 'em up. Every time he tries to offer me one, though, I politely turn him away with a simple, "Nah, I don't really like this," or "I don't care for that." So one day he sits beside me and he tries to share his peach cobbler with me. I decline because, as I've been saying, I don't like peaches. Then he says something that, you know, kind of has had me in a tizzy ever since. And he says to me, "Do you like anything?" Ugh, ugh, like a personal affront, if you ask me. So I start to answer and I say, "Well, I don't like citrus fruits and I never really like oranges. I don't really like strawberries. I could like kiwi, but I have to have a taste for them. And pears, like, oof, just don't really get me started on pears. I could like them, but..." And then as I'm talking, I realized that he was giving me this like really weird look. For real, he's like looking a little perplexed and a little vexed over there. And so he just gives me the peach cobbler and he was like, "Try this. I'm pretty sure you like this. It's like a dessert, so it's like not even a fruit. It's more of a dessert." So I kind of just like hem a haw a little bit because I ain't really feeling that. And um, but I tried. He's my husband, so I tried for him. And I chewed it, and I'm not really planning on liking it. I tried to go into it with like a open mind and whatnot, but I didn't really plan on liking it. But then I did, and I wasn't sure if I did, so I had to ask him for a second bite, and I did like it. So ever since, I've been trying things left and right that I thought that I didn't like because I just grew up holding on to these things that I thought that I didn't like, and turns out I might actually do. So yeah, as you see, I'm pretty close to cleaning my desk, and I swear there's a reason why I'm showing you me cleaning off my desk. It really is. But back to the story. So, like I said, I've been trying things left and right that I didn't think that I really liked. I've been mixing foods together, which, believe me, has been a big thing for me all my life. I never really mix my foods. I don't even really let them touch, and I've been letting them touch my plate, y'all. So what started off as experimenting with things that I didn't like turned into challenging the things that I thought I knew, and making things like making things from scratch, or like butter. Like, you don't have to just buy butter; you can make it from scratch. And I thought I knew that, but like I never did it, so I did it, and I realized that you can make pudding from scratch. It doesn't only come in a box. Like, that's literally something I thought you could only get in a box, and it occurred to me the one day that like people back in the day with the figgy puddings, they did not just have like a Jello box that said figgy pudding on it. Like, somebody had to make that from scratch. And I thought about it and I, realized again that yeah, you can make that from scratch. So that turned into revisiting something that I had kind of let sit dormant in the house but didn't touch, which is my craft table, the one that you just saw me clean. And yes, that is the Altenew Vintage Flowers stamp set. That is going to be what I'm using today. Um, I hadn't really touched my craft table in a meaningful way in like years. It sat in the middle of the house, untouched but not forgotten. Like, we all walk past my craft table often, every time, like multiple times a day, and I just never used it. Um, I hadn't really touched it. So I wanted to be creative. I wanted to make something, but every time I got close to it, it's like this mental barrier would pop up. I would get busy with a chore, or I would tell myself that I would have to go sweep the floor before I could hit the craft table, or like one of the kids would need me and I would just like not get there. But every now and again, the stamp set would catch my attention. Or an ink pad that I hadn't used, like literally ink pads that I had not used, had not even opened up, sitting on my craft table waiting for me to use them, never used them. Um, then I had to confront myself with why this was so hard for me because I loved crafting. I mean, you see my earlier videos and how long ago I have been a crafter. I love crafting and I had not done it in a while. And even on my Instagram, I could go back and review all the stuff that I used to do. Why am I not doing this anymore? And then I had a really important realization. I had let other people steal my joy. And if you knew who I was back then, you know the situation. But for anyone who's like a little newer on my channel, it was my ex. He had so much animosity for a simple activity that brought me joy that he wasn't even around anymore. And I couldn't let myself enjoy it. Like, he's been gone for years and I couldn't even let myself enjoy an activity that I freaking loved. And something that I found out over time is that there are a lot of women who are like that, who have husbands or boyfriends who just generally do not like them. And, not trying to start off anybody into, some path of self discovery. I mean, if you do, that's great. But there are a lot of women who have men in their lives who just honestly do not like them. And they do not like when you do things that do not center them. And I found myself to be in that situation. So I don't want to make this story about him because, F him. I'm in my like new girl era, and this is about me. So it was two things that kind of broke that mindset for me, and one of them was my mama's voice. Now, like I told you, my mama had passed, so at this point I'm still like mourning her. But in my mind, clear as day, as soon as I was having this thought, I was just like, I let him steal my joy. And then like immediately my mom pops up in my head. Now look at you, letting him keep it like a dummy. Now y'all, my mama never called me a dummy in real life, but it's like I heard her say it once about someone else. My mama didn't have to really cuss at you to make you feel common, and the way she said dummy was worse than any cut I'd ever known. To hear her voice in my head saying that was like the first part of freeing myself. It was like I woke up. The second part was my daughter. Now she's young, and she likes kitty makeup. It reminded me of me and my sister at that age doing the same thing. Now that we're older, none of us wear makeup really. I could easily chalk that up to personal preference, but I know a lot of it was attitudes in the Black community about being fast. I'm not sure what fast translates to into other communities, but I know being interested in boys and wearing non-cotton underwear meant you were up to something, and so did makeup. And the garish color choices my little single-digit age self would make a show for anybody. My mama laughed at me once, and I was scared to touch makeup for years. So, another cut. It wasn't until I was in my early 20s that I slowly kind of tried again. At one point, I wanted to be a model, and I was on that path. The whole story is like for another time, but that's why I kept a secret interest in makeup. Plus, I just like the way it looked. I mean, I don't think I really have to explain that. You can like things for the sake of liking them, right? So, I started watching videos and going to makeup counters. All my girlfriends at the time were in a Sephora, so I went there to try to get my own stuff, like update my little makeup game. And at a certain point, I had a nice little collection of nice products that I was learning to apply to myself. I didn't really wear it anywhere, to be honest. I didn't want to wear it at work, lest I give the wrong impression. And I wouldn't wear it but every so often on the weekends, but I was wearing it just for me. And I liked it. And that's why my ex let the kids destroy my whole collection. Twice. I cried like a wounded animal the second time it happened, I'm not gonna lie. I gave away everything I had. I never wanted to see another makeup brush in my life. And so when like my now single digit daughter asked me about my lip glosses and why I had so many that I never wore, I had to challenge myself again. So insert my mama or either like Fred Sanford at this point. Dummy. So I bought a new color. There's a photo of my mom wearing a dark brown lipstick. There are a few of those photos of my mom with that lipstick, and I always loved the way she looked. And whenever I wear makeup, that's kind of the style that I go for because it looked good on her. Everybody says I'm like a little version of her, so I think it looks good on me too. So apply the liner, add the color, put your beauty bookmark back in. Voila. I look for day and night. They call me Little Loach, which is what my mama's nickname was. So my single digit daughter looks at me with admiration, and something inside me kind of just heals. So now my hands have purpose. I'm cleaning off my desk, and I can kind of get rid of that clutter. And like I said, my mom passed away earlier this year, but I kind of think that as I rise from my mama's ashes, purified by fire from her life's choices, immortalized in my memory, my sister's, my brother's memories, and our children's memories. She's always been some form of a source of strength for me at my weakest points. So now as I clean off my desk, I wonder, is it me or is it her? Is she helping me gain back a part of myself that I kind of just let go? But nonetheless, my hands have cleared the table and now I can create. I miss you, Mom, and I wish you were here.